Suneera Madhani. Suneera Madhani.
Without much further ado, I'd like to welcome Suneera.
Hi, I'm Suneera Madhani, a mom of two, daughter of an immigrant, and an unlikely entrepreneur who built $1 billion business. Yes, billion. Now I'm doing it again and building my second unicorn, Worth. Shockingly, less than 2% of female founders ever reach 1 million in revenue, and I'm on a mission to change that. At CEO School, we mentor thousands of women to help them level up in business and in life. We believe that you deserve to have it all because honestly, nothing bad happens when women make more money. Grab a seat because class is officially in session. Welcome to CEO School. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the CEO School podcast. It's Suneera here, and I am so excited because it's springtime and it's finally warm. We've been in this Arctic cold everywhere. This year, I swear, felt like it was way colder than it has ever been. And I feel like I've just been packing for the snow, and our ski break was really wonderful. But then New York and Orlando, there was snow on the beach in Florida. So I don't know what is happening in the world. But it is nice because finally the weather is changing. It's a new season. We're in March. And I just feel like, the first quarter is almost over and I'm excited to kind of release all of that energy. And it's kind of like a fresh, spring flowers, right? Like everything's blooming, it's fresh. And I'm so excited to get into this next season. And there's a lot of really fun things happening. Our energy is on fire this year. Last year, so I want to give a little business update because I love bringing you guys into what's happening in building again. So it is going to be 5 years coming up right now. I can't believe it's 5 years. And I really just am in so much gratitude. I can't thank you enough. I don't want to get emotional. I will get emotional. I love you. I love you so much. I love everything about you. You're so gorgeous, by the way. I love what you're wearing. You're driving in the car and you look so hot right now. You're washing your dishes and man, that dish has never been scrubbed cleaner before. Your kids that are obnoxious in the background right there. You are such a great mother. You are such a great mother. If you're sitting in the office and watching this on YouTube, your business is just killing it, girl. You are killing it. I love you. I love you so much. And I feel just giddy. I really do. I'm joking. I'm being giddy. I'm happy. And I just want to tell each of you how much I love you. I really, really do. And I see myself in all of you. I get a chance to meet many of you so often at conferences or through our community. And I want to tell you a little bit about ways that I'm really excited to connect with you in person this year. So I'm definitely feeling that in-person energy. It's year 5. We've never hosted a conference, which I'm still so not ashamed of, but I've always wanted to. I'm so good about saying no and making sure things are perfectly prioritized. And it's something I really want to do. And so I would love to hear from you to say, yes, I would absolutely come. And so I'll share some things on social to figure out ways for you and I to really connect because relationships are so important and they're real. I really do feel like, although it feels, you might feel like we might be far, we're not. I have met hundreds of CEO School listeners, just through so many different types of things. And I really want to connect with you. I actually do read through my DMs as well. My team is active. They send stuff to me all the time as well. We're here and I really do want to connect with you. Every time you leave a review, I read it and it melts my heart. Sometimes it breaks my heart. It melts my heart. And I love to connect with you in every which capacity. So please continue to do so. And with that, I wanted to share, just some business updates and what's happening. So it's definitely spring. I feel that level of connection. We are hosting our first event of the year. It will be in Orlando and for the Millionaire Founders Club retreat. For those that don't know what that is, I'll take a few minutes to kind of share the Millionaire Founders Club and why I created it. And there's also going to be more opportunities for us to connect even through Founders Club, through the podcast. So stay tuned if you want to be part of this, if you want to be here, if you want to get together in person, if you want me to, if you want to pick 5 minutes of my brain. I get that question all the time. Can I have 5 minutes of your brain? I would love to. The answer is absolutely yes. And I'm going to share all of which ways that we can do that. So first, I do have our spring retreat coming up. I started Millionaire Founders Club about 2 years ago. Last year was our first full year of MFC, is what we like to call it for short. And I launched this because post-exit, so after exiting Stacks, so it was a 10-year journey, I started this podcast kind of in that second stage of my entrepreneurship journey. So we were beyond scale. We were planning, like that year, we ended up doing our first exit, and then we exited again the following year after. So I did sell the business to private equity, and then we did another capital raise and did another majority exit a year after. But it was a big journey of entrepreneurship. And I felt like everyone that I was around, most everyone that I was around was all male energy. And there wasn't anything bad. I gained a lot of success because of that extrinsically or on paper and through my business. And I learned so much, and I wouldn't change any of that. But I felt like there was a huge part of me missing. I felt like I was living in such masculine all the time. I felt like that also affected the way that I was with my partner, the way I managed my home. And I almost I forgot what my feminine energy was like. The way I would dress. One of my really dear friends, she recently, we were at a Magic game together, and she's like, Sunny, I just love the way you dress now. And I was like, okay, well, that's a little slide, like now. And I'm like, okay, girl. But I've always dressed nice. She's like, no, but she's like, oh, you've only ever worn a suit, like a suit and a t-shirt. And like, finally, I feel like I see you in dresses and skirts, and even your suits that you wear, you're just like so much more feminine. And I'm like, you're totally right. Like even the way that I was showing up in my dressing was so masculine. And there was nothing, I wouldn't change, like my journey is what my journey was, but a huge part of me, I didn't know, like I had just lost a huge part of me. And post-exit, after going through the exit and, coming into like what that looks like as a founder, what that looks like for my team, I just felt so lonely. Like that was something that is like, wait, it's not supposed to feel like this. I'm supposed to feel on top of the world. Like I thought I was going to, like you work so hard to get to the top. And then what happens when you actually like reach the peak? Like what do you do? You're like, great. You take a picture, like you celebrate. And that's what happened. We had this big party. You've heard me talk about it. And if you haven't, I'll try to find some episodes and link them if you want to hear about what happened post-exit. But I felt this emptiness because I was like, wait, I reached the goal. I did everything. I actually accomplished the things. I started as a founder. I took it from 0 to the first 1,000 customers, the next 10,000 customers, to the first, from 1 million in revenue to 10 million in revenue to 100 million in revenue, valuation going from, nothing, couldn't get an investor, got rejected out of every single room, to getting our first investor. My first investor came in for $100,000. That was my first investment, and it came in $25,000 tranches. It wasn't even actually $100,000 altogether. But that first valuation was at $1 million. It was like just out of thin air. They were like, okay, here's the value. And I was ecstatic that my business was worth $1 million. I went to a celebration dinner with my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law in New York, because that was where our first investor was. And I ended up buying out that investor for a valuation 10 times plus what he invested in for in a couple of years thereafter. But the story here is that I went from that 1 million in valuation to that we had even, my next goal was 100 million in value. I don't even know where I was coming up with these numbers, by the way. Like I literally, when I'm like looking at my podcast manager, she's like, has her mouth open. I'm like, I literally don't know where I would come up with it. It was just like the next thing. It was like oh, what's the next one? Okay. We did at 100 million in value. So for my board gift, when we first got our seed round funding, that valuation was roughly around like 12, 15 million. I don't remember the exact. And for that Christmas, I sent everyone a bottle of like Johnny Walker, like a good scotch, because that's like the gift to give to investor guys. And so it was actually really sweet. And I ordered labels off of Etsy and redid the labels on the Johnny Walker bottle. And it said open like when it's aged to 100 million. Like that is what was like my investor gift for the first, like our Christmas, not together, but as like a Christmas gift to my investors. And one of my mentors who was on the board at that time, he still has it in his home in Atlanta. And like, it's so sweet. But I look back at that and I'm like, man, I just had 100, like I just picked it out of air and I was like, okay, here's the next milestone, 100 million in value or in vision. Right. And then from that 100 million, we did that. We, in Series C, it was 220 million. And the next value, we were like, okay, we're going to do the next one at $1 billion. And it's nice that I was, we're able to set these goals and just go heads down and work towards the goals. But I reached them. And I am really proud and I am really happy that I was able to do that. What's ironic though, is that why did it feel so empty? Like that's the thing that I look back on, and I looked at the last like 2 years, and me finding myself in this is because I had completely lost myself in the business. There was a lot of success that came from it, but I was really lonely. I have literally had no friends outside of the same 5 friends that I've had forever, which I love to death. And thank you for sticking around with me. But all of my friends were all my work friends. Like everything was about work. And I was also a young mom. Like I was a brand new mother. My business came first. Like, so I had started the business in 2013 and Mila was born in 2016. So I had the business first, and that was my first baby. Like that's all I ever did. And then I became a mother, and I was navigating doing that all by myself. Sorry, Faisal, I don't mean all by myself. Of course you were there and you're an incredible father. But I mean like from a sense of I did it all by myself. Like didn't have a example. None of my co-founders were women who also were raising children and having a business. I didn't see examples of women talking about how they were also moms and running $100 million tech companies, or what was next, or how to deal with investors. I was fundraising for the company, which is a huge part of my job running a tech company. So we're always in need for capital. And I was pregnant for 2 fundraisers, and I hid my pregnancy because the only investor that I met that was a woman told me literally that I should hide my pregnancy. She was like, and she was not trying to be, she was actually giving me honest advice to say, don't even bring it up until you have to. And that was pretty much at like the 7-month mark. And I was like, okay, I got to get this fundraise done before like I can't hide it anymore. And so I navigated all of it just by myself. And it's really like, that's the thing that I don't want you to have to do. That was, if you go back and listen to, I did an episode just, I think 2 episodes ago, where I talked about things to let go of, is like, you don't have to do it by yourself. And I don't think I knew that. I just didn't see it in front of me. And so I didn't like really seek out for help. And I think as women, we're so heads down. We're like, I'm just trying to get it done. I don't even have time to look for help or to see what resources I can have. But the resources honestly just weren't available either. So in 2020, I felt like recently, in these last 5 years, there has been more, not just conversation about women in business, but because of social media and because of digital business transformation, or digital businesses even booming, there have been the growth of this podcast, growth of other podcasts, communities forming, right? Where it's like, hey, we can be around a sisterhood. We can find our own kind. But it was really lonely, and it didn't have to be. And post my exit, I felt like I didn't know who to call. Like after work was done, right? So I wasn't able to go to the office anymore. So I wasn't like driving to the office. I would literally get in my car, and this is true story. I would get into my car and I would automatically drive to the office every morning. Like whenever I would like get up, maybe I'm like going to Publix, or I'd go to whatever I do. And I'm like trying to find new routines post exit. I would get in my car and I'd just be like, oh my God, there's the office. Like I wasn't even thinking that's how my behavior was. And I had to really literally go deep and like unlearn all of my habits. And I learned that I knew nothing else besides besides what I knew, which was work. And it was a really sad feeling, honestly. And I was also trying to figure out how to navigate, what's next for my career, if I was going to start another company, if I was going to just go all in on the podcast, or if I wanted to go speak, or if I had like book offers. I'm like, what am I going to do next? But I had nobody to call, right? Like I had nobody to call truly that could understand. I had my life friends, but I didn't have my business besties squad. So I knew a few women through my network that were also women in business. And I picked up the phone and I was like, I need a business bestie girls weekend. Like that is what I need. And they were like, okay, let's do it. And this person was working on a launch of this program. And this person was working on the second location of their studios, and this person was working on a book deal. And so we're like, oh, perfect. We're all going to get together and we'll mastermind and we'll mind share. And I left that weekend. I felt super refreshed. We had all of the best conversations from, of course, it was business, but it was life, and it was just all the things. And I forgot business is what I love to do. Like that is a huge part of what I love, who I am. And I am really excited about all the other things in life. And this time around, what I want from freedom in my life and what I want my time to look like. And so we had so many incredible conversations, and I just felt so recharged, refreshed. And I'm like, this is what has been missing for me, right? And I've had it. And how do I bring more of this? So I need more of this. And that is truly where the first meetup of Millionaire Founders Club happened. And I've been in these circles before. I've gone to so many different kinds of mastermind events, or I've gone to group YPO conversations. I've been in just all kinds of rooms. I've been in venture portfolio company conferences. We all get together. There's so many kinds of retreats, and those are wonderful. Those are super wonderful, and they give you that same kind of feeling. But what was different with my 4 girlfriends? The difference was how deep our relationship was. The difference wasn't it was a one and done kind of transaction, right? It was, I knew her story. I know her kids. I know her life. I know her. So when she's giving me what's happening in her, she wants advice on something, or we're talking through her launch. I'm like, no, you're never going to do it like this because I know you hate this. Or I know you're going to say you're going to do it like this. And then this is what's going to happen, because we've had years of history. And that's why that was so different compared to other retreats that I've gone to, and even other retreats that I've hosted. I've hosted so many through the years. And that was that aha moment of, this is what I need more of. Where are my sisters at? Where is that sisterhood of women who are my peers, who are at this stage in business? And they don't have to be exited founders, right? But we're not in that early stage hustle. We're in this scale part of it, or we're in this, or we've had experience in this before. So the business element of it is check. But then we also want to have these life conversations. We want to be there for each other beyond this one weekend. And I went back, and that was my first project post-exit, by the way. And I was actually, Worth was actually being tossed around. So I was also in rooms talking with my brother around our next startup and our tech startup. So that was also happening. And then for CEO school, this is where my pen to paper was going. And that's where Millionaire Founders Club was born. I'm like, I want to find my 100 peers. And I set out on this, and I said, we're going to get together. And these are all women that are part of the sisterhood that we know that we will grow to love. And it's not a one and done. So it's not a come to the retreat and be done and check out and I'll see you on Instagram and bye. This is the woman that's going to show up again for the next one. This is the one that's going to show up again, the one that's going to pick up my phone call, and the one that we're going to keep at this business relationship and this life relationship. And so I put it out, and I was like, okay, this is who we're looking for. And we had a founding 50 class. So we filled 50 women for the first spring retreat, and it was incredible. Exactly what I thought was going to happen happened. It was magical. It was all women with the most incredible hearts first. there was a threshold. So I did put a revenue threshold of $1 million for the business to be at. And it's not because I want to be like, oh, now we're at this stage or our business is greater or like the 0 to 1 million doesn't matter. It was only to take it off the table to, so that now we're in this like next stage of scaling or exiting or building wealth, or on the second venture, et cetera. So we put that threshold. And so the conversations can also look different in those rooms. I was also in so many rooms where I felt I was constantly the mentor versus a peer, or I'm also gaining value. And I know a lot of women that, kind of go beyond that 7-figure mark, or are close to it, that feel that same feeling of, they want to be around women at their, like, and we all do, right? We all want to be around, and it's great to be around people that are also 2 steps ahead, right? That is also important, but it is important to also be able to just like text your peers and be like, hey, here's what's happening, and it's relevant. And so that was one requirement. And then really it was about longevity. It was about real relationships, about being real businesses. And that's what we set out to go find. So every single woman in our group came from every kind of industry. And that was something that when I set out to do, I was like, I don't want to have only one kind of business or one kind of profile. So the average age of MFC literally ended up being between 40 to 50. And we didn't purposefully plan that in any which way, but it just goes to show they're just mature women, mature businesses. And I'm so proud of that. And we have women that are younger and we have women that are older. But the one thing that is really awesome is that everyone has unique, that we've got from doctors to lawyers to online educators to brick and mortar companies, to service-based companies, to product-based companies. I mean, it's across the board. But what's really amazing is when you get 100 women together that are all high achievers, that come from various different industries, that are all successful, and they have heart, and everyone, even many of them aren't moms, most of them are moms, but everyone is family oriented. I will say hands down that is a value system of everyone in that room. They're just the most incredible women. I love them so much. I text all of them every day. We have like the most incredible WhatsApp thread that is so active, too active sometimes, but it's incredible. And that's the sisterhood that we formed. And so in spring, we had 50 women. And then in the fall, we added 30. And I'm so proud to say that everyone is back at it this year. So because it's not a one and done. And we're all back at the table. So we're all going to meet together in April in Orlando. So it'll be nice and warm. And we're all going to get together for an awesome retreat. We're going to get together in the fall. And we are looking for our final 20. So we're looking for, if this is you, if this like sounds like something you want to be part of, if you are that woman, you have an incredible business, you have an incredible heart, you're ambitious, but you also really care about wanting freedom in your life and you want to live your life and be the best version of you, this is the group for you. And I think the most important thing that I'm just really exhausted from, or what I find, I'm just tired of the transactional everything. And I think this is a good reminder for all of us, like in business and in life, like relationships really do matter. Relationships, if you invest in people, you invest in relationships, you will get tenfold. And we are lost in this world with that. Every single thing is about speed. Every single thing is about what's in it for me. We're only focused. I see it all day long in meetings, in conversations, on Insta, in every which way. We need to get back to building meaningful relationships. That is how we succeed in life and are fulfilled also as humans. The transaction element is short-lived and there is gain from that, right? There is gain from that. And that's why we seek it, because it's a high. We get a reward from it right away, but it doesn't last and it's not fulfilling and it's not for legacy. It's not for longevity. It's just for the transaction. That's not the kind of business I want to be in. That's not the kind of life I want to live. And so in my next stage, I just want to surround myself with real, deep, meaningful relationships. And I hope that today, this is a reminder for that for you, to assess that. Assess your relationships in business and in life. And don't worry if you're like, this sounds perfect, Suneera. I want in, but I'm not there right now in my business. I'm just getting started. don't worry, there's a place for you too. And I said, this year is going to be about connection for me. So we have our retreats for Millionaire Founders Club. If this sounds like you, shoot me a DM right away, because as soon as this episode goes out, and I'm personally vetting every person because this is my peer group. April, we're going to get together for MFC. We are getting together for Founders Club. So come join me inside of the Founders Club. Founders Club has been fully revamped completely. I literally got rid of 250 members, which I'm going to do an entire episode on how we just kicked everybody out. And so I'm all for quality in my life right now, and that's everywhere. This membership for Founders Club is intimate now. We've kicked everybody out. We had 500 plus members. We are 250 members, and it is clean. It is incredible women. We have revamped programming. It's like literally every Tuesday we get together. We have a workshop every single Tuesday at noon. And I lead once a month, and we have 3 other experts that lead every single month. It's consistent, it's easy, it's the best. And I'm there every single month. I'm there coaching you, and I'm in it every single week because it's so clean and it's so easy. And so we've revamped that as well. So come join that space. It's so accessible. It's such, I'm going to link everything in the show notes. And if you heard it on today's podcast, just let us know there. And I'm even going to give you a code for 25% off if you want to join today from the podcast. Don't miss out. It's $149 as a membership. It's so accessible. I'm going to give you a 25% off code right now, and go join it. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there in Founders Club too. And we're meeting up. We're getting together. We're going to South by Southwest. We're going to other conferences. We're doing CEO school meetups. Come join us, and it's quality. And so if this sounds like you want real connection, and of course it's business growth, right? It's the playbooks. I mean, literally inside of our conversations, it's business, but it's with heart. It's business, but it's also putting life into account, and it's integrated. And so that's the freedom. That's what I'm excited about this next chapter. And today I just wanted to share all the which ways that we can connect. It's spring. I'm excited for this weather. I'm excited for this year. And I haven't gotten a chance to just tell you guys and give you guys an update for CEO School. It's also our 5 years coming up. So in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be announcing all the things around the podcast. So there are 3 ways to connect with us on CEO School. We've got Millionaire Founders Club if you're $1 million plus. If you're under $1 million, we have Founders Club. So it's the same thing, Founders Club and Millionaire Founders Club. Come join in Founders Club. And we have the podcast. And so these are the ways to connect with us. The podcast is celebrating its birthday. I want you to celebrate with me. I put my heart and soul into this with all of you, and I love you all so, so very much. So stay tuned. Leave us a review. I want to share this with so many more women. So let me know what your favorite episodes are. We're recording every single month, new episodes. And so if you enjoyed the last few episodes of March, definitely let me know. I really, really loved our last few episodes and our interviews. Let me know who you want us to have on, all the things, and connect with us. We're online. I'm going to link everything in the show notes today. And I cannot wait to give you a hug in person this year in 2025. Until next time on CEO School.